weather. I know last week it was Tuesday. This week it's Wednesday. It's a pattern we're in, unfortunately. It's spring severe weather season. We're going to talk all about it and what you can expect. Actually, 28 years ago yesterday, it actually marks the day that the tornado struck in East Alabama, the Palm Sunday tornado outbreak 28 years ago. Wow. Tornadoes ravaged Alabama on Palm Sunday, March 27, 1994. At 11:39 that morning in 1994, an F4 tornado struck the Goshen United Methodist Church in Cherokee County. There were 20 fatalities, 90 injuries. That day, 27 tornadoes impacted Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. You know, interestingly, I visited this area after the April 2011 tornado outbreak, and same locations around Goshen United Methodist Church that were impacted were same areas were impacted by 2011. The same tornado that went through Tuscaloosa, it tracked across East Alabama and just up the road from where this tornado crossed in 1994. But it's amazing. It's been 28 years now since that event. But it goes to show this is one of those times of the year when we have some very active weather in Alabama. We're going to need to watch it again this week as we monitor Wednesday. Just looking at the Wednesday setup, I don't see a major statewide or outbreak where we have 60-plus tornadoes, not a history-making day. We don't see that, but, you know, it only takes one storm, takes one tornado, and that's why even if you're in the marginal risk zone, I say make sure you have ways to get the alerts, and don't be surprised if you see a tornado warning. That is expected. That possibility is there, even in those marginal risk areas. This is just highlighting where there's a more limited risk for more isolated advisories, and those advisories, chances are they could be most numerous in West Alabama, where we have that more enhanced risk. But this just kind of gives you an idea, puts it all a bit in a context of what we're thinking here. It's a more common kind of late March setup that we're seeing across Alabama. But I really need to watch it. Some of those parameters, the wind shear looks a bit more impressive, and the combination with instability to me across these western areas compared to last time. So really concerned there across the western part of the state for the possibility of a tornado. We'll need to watch out in the evening. Could be some damaging wind gusts, some large hail, and it looks like this moves out. That shows Wednesday at 5 o'clock, but this may not reach our western areas until around 7. As far as the timing, we've actually made some adjustments you'll see here. Notice into the evening. So through most of the day Wednesday, it's kind of windy out there, and then during the evening, notice that enhanced risk does include parts of Jefferson, Shelby counties, and then as the night goes on, you'll notice that risk becoming more isolated with time as it moves west or east, and we'll also need to watch out for that risk of flooding. That is going to be a concern as well. What to expect here for Wednesday? We've got very windy Wednesday afternoon gusts there at 30 to 40 miles per hour, and associated with that system, that line of storms arriving, and then we're looking at the risk for some damaging wind gusts as high as 70 miles per hour. If you don't have our First Alert Weather app, you may be actually watching us right now from the First Alert Weather app, but we have this code, and if you are watching us on television, on our streaming apps, you can take the camera on your phone. Anytime you see this code, you can scan that, and that will take you to our landing page for First Alert Weather Day. All the information you need, including information on how to program your weather radio if you need some help with that. I know we've been talking about this for over a week now, this other severe weather event, and kind of like the last one, just because we've been talking about it days in advance doesn't necessarily correlate with this being, you know, a more significant risk. I know sometimes you see that and you may think, well, wow, they've been talking about it for over a week. This must be really bad. The thing is, we have some really good forecast data, so that gives us ample time to give you time to prepare. Make sure you are ready for whatever comes there on Wednesday, and we don't hesitate around here. If we see any indication of severe weather, we are going to give you that first alert and let you know about it. So you have some time here. Just make sure on Wednesday that you are situationally aware of what's the afternoon and into the evening. Know those counties nearby, so if you notice the county to your west under a warning, that will give you time to react and seek shelter. In the meantime, no severe weather tonight, no severe weather tomorrow. It's Wednesday that we're concerned about. So if you have some plans for this evening, the forecast is pretty much right on track here. You can see dry weather, very tranquil conditions for tonight into tomorrow morning. There's a look at 6 a.m. overnight lows tonight, close to 50 degrees out there to start the day. And tomorrow, actually, we'll have afternoon highs highs close to 80 degrees. They are quite breezy during the afternoon. But again, looking at some of those timing maps there for the setup. A live look from Chelsea. We've had some fires going on down into Shelby County. If you look there, you can see the smoke plume, that wildfire we were tracking there around Vandiver. Still seeing some smoke. You may notice some hazy conditions there in Shelby County from those fires over the weekend. Also looks like maybe some fire situations happening around. I noticed in Centerville there looked to be some smoke plumes happening there. Some of the camera views coming in out of West Alabama. But no severe weather, no rain. If you see a little bit of green on the radar, sometimes radar picks up those smoke plumes. You can see that, and it shows up as green there on the radar, but that is not rain. That's what's happening. No precipitation tonight or tomorrow, but we are watching Wednesday. We're going to have a lot more on that setup coming up. Plus, we'll go beyond the 7-day as we continue here on First Alert Weather Extra. And we'll check in on that lake forecast with Mickey and what's happening in the night sky. It's a great evening for sky watchers. We'll check in with Lauren after this. The next big thing gives you a heads up days ahead of the next big storm system. The next 24 gives you the most accurate and updated look at tomorrow. And the next 60 gives you a 60-minute advantage against Mother Nature. Knowing what's next, days, hours, or minutes away, this is why we First Alert.
When we declare First Alert Weather Day, it's all hands on deck. We're on your side and in your hand with the First Alert Weather app. While Wes and the rest of the team track changes moment to moment, the app keeps you prepared and safe with video and alerts for your neighborhood. And if the power goes out, no worries. You can stream us anywhere. It's easy and it's always on. Stay ahead of Alabama weather. Just scan and tap and have the First Alert Weather app. This is why we First Alert.
On Good Day Alabama, we treat severe weather with the highest priority. It's more than just meteorologists. Everyone plays a part. Having more reporters in more places takes you beyond the First Alert, showing you the impact that we see on radar. We're live in your neighborhood when you need us. On air, online, and on the app. That's the advantage of having the most reporters on your side. That's the advantage of Good Day Alabama.
Our lives revolve around planning for what's next, like the next ball game.
One hot dog with ketchup? It's the same with weather. That's why we're on your side with the next big thing, the next 60, and the next 24. Knowing what's next, days, hours, or minutes away.
This is why we First Alert. Who puts ketchup on a hot dog?
Getting live breaking news and local updates has never been easier. That's because we're on your side with the WBRC streaming app. Need updates between newscasts? You can catch up quick here. And when we're live on TV, we're live here too. Just search WBRC on your Roku, Amazon Fire, or Apple TV. WBRC Fox 6 News is on your side.
All right, welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Live look from Gulf Shores, currently 72 degrees. That's our Sky Vision camera on the hangout. A lot of folks enjoying spring break this week. And let's check in now with meteorologist Matt Daniel for an update on the spring break forecast.
All right, we've gone into the Monday, now we're going into tomorrow, and I know a lot of people are on spring break, and if you haven't made it down to the Gulf Coast, what you waiting for? This is a view from earlier this morning. I already see people already out there enjoying the sunshine, and it's going to be a really nice day to be out on the beach going into tomorrow, but maybe not the case going into Wednesday evening. Now I want to show you the rip current forecast. Of course, the water temperatures remaining pretty chilly, right around 66 degrees near Gulf Shores, but notice as we go into tomorrow, the rip current threat's at a moderate. And then it goes up to a high threat Wednesday and a Thursday. So I doubt a lot of people are going to want to be in the waters just because it is cold, but definitely don't want to be Wednesday and Thursday. We're going to have some really strong winds ahead of our next system. And of course, the chance for some storms Wednesday and a Thursday, just as the First Alert Weather Team has been talking about. So if you are on spring break going into this week, heading out towards Gulf Shores Tuesday and Wednesday, looking pretty good. Tuesday staying dry, mostly cloudy, temperatures in the low to mid 70s. Wednesday, mostly dry, but we will likely see some storms make their way after sunset or so. And then as we go to Orange Beach, same idea. Looking at temperatures in the lower 70s, not too bad. Pensacola, not too bad either. Tuesday, maybe some fog early in the morning. Otherwise, mid 70s, upper 70s. Wednesday, ahead of that cold front, of course, storms moving in later in that evening hours into the overnight. And then if you're heading out towards Destin, 74 degrees Tuesday and 76 on Wednesday. And then as you you head on out to Panama City, looking pretty good with those winds out of the west and south right around 10 to 15 miles per hour. So here's a look at the 7-day forecast going into the extended period. And as you can see, we got those storm chances Wednesday and a Thursday. It's really in the overnight hours. Most of Thursday's looking dry. A little breezy though, westerly winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour, high near 71. Friday's looking good, and then we could see another system develop along the Gulf Coast. The models are showing different solutions, so this forecast could change, but there could be some showers and storms to deal with Saturday, with Sunday perhaps a little bit drier and looking pretty breezy going into early next week. But overall, at least going into tomorrow and especially Thursday and Friday, if you're going out to the beach, looking pretty good.
All right, thanks a lot, Matt. And a lot of talk about Wednesday, of course. I know we're talking about some decent weather, at least over the next 24 hours. Some nice weather tonight, Lauren, for checking out the night sky.
Yeah, you know, Wes, I debated. There have been a couple weeks I haven't even bothered because it's just been so rainy and stormy for a lot of March. I'm like, no, we're going to have a couple nights. Let's indulge. A lot of people are on spring break. Let's indulge in that night sky forecast.
And not too hazy, right?
Right, not too hazy at all. Like, for example, tonight, and I think Thursday night, Friday night should have some decent views of the night sky. So this is what we're looking at with the night sky this week. The moon is currently in the waning crescent phase, and by the end of the week, we're going to reach the new moon phase, which is where you step outside and you're like, where's the moon at? It looks completely dark. But we also have a few planets that we can really see well. It's not included on here, but you can also see Jupiter later this week. But the three main ones are going to be Venus, Saturn, and Mars. And maybe you're an even bigger space geek than I am, and you caught this, that there was actually a conjunction of the planets this morning right before sunrise. If you have any cool photos of that, you can submit it to us on the WBRC First Alert weather app. We've been so focused on severe weather, I totally missed it. So I apologize for that, guys, but hopefully you'll get some good views of the planets nevertheless, even though it's not in fancy conjunction form over the next few days. So we talk about the new moon, and you wonder, okay, where did it go? Well, you're going from the waning crescent into the new moon phase, and that's actually going to occur on Friday, April 1st. And what's happening is the moon is between the Earth and the sun. So the moon has 0% illumination from the sun, just based on the juxtaposition of the Earth kind of blocking any of that light. So there is a benefit to that, even though you don't get to see the gorgeous full moon in all of its glory. The sky being less illuminated means you can see the night sky a little bit better. So if you're somewhere where there's some light pollution, like a city like Birmingham, may actually be able to catch a view of the planets. Now, as far as when you do want to look at the planets, unfortunately, that best time is going to be during the morning hours. Let me just pull it up real quickly here. Our graphic just skipped, but we do have a great view not only of the night sky, but we also have a good view of the waning crescent moon. This is an awesome view that one of our viewers sent in through the WBRC First Alert weather app. So thanks to Bruce Tiddale for sending that in. Obviously, a lot of us just take photos with our iPhones and they don't look as good, but we'll certainly be looking out for any of your own great photos in the days ahead. I think by the end of the week, we should have a better view of Jupiter, which will be right around sunrise. So any of these planets, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, catch them right before the sun rises. And sunrise tomorrow morning is around 6:40 a.m. Now we may see a few more clouds around tomorrow, of course, but I really think once we get this storm system out of here by early Thursday morning, we should be seeing improving viewing conditions west. So I don't know about you, I'm definitely looking forward to the fact that we'll be having some clear skies later in the week. We just have to get through another First Alert weather day first.
I know. Last week it was Tuesday. This week it's Wednesday. And Lauren, you know, we were looking at this setup on Wednesday over the weekend, and it seemed like it might be lunchtime to midnight. And it always happens. It trended into the evening and overnight. We have so many overnight severe weather events.
We do. That just seems to be the trend around here. And of course, we hate when they come through at nighttime, even though you think about, okay, you lose that daytime heating, that destabilization. Still, coming through at night, people oftentimes aren't paying as good of attention because you're sleeping. So we want to make sure you have a loud way to receive weather alerts.
Yeah, and difficult to see at night. A lot of these storms are fast movers, and that's one of the reasons why, we want to make sure you're ready here. You got another day tomorrow to make sure you have battery backup in your NOAA weather radio. You have a plan, know where to go. Check on the local municipality where you live. Make sure the shelter's open on Wednesday. And sometimes when a warning's issued, it's too late at that point. Just make sure you check ahead of time, know how much time it will take you to get to a safe spot there in the event we do see watches, and just notice what's happening west of you. Of course, we'll be right here keeping you most informed if any severe weather starts to approach our coverage area. But as we stay ahead of this, we're going to show you that system on Wednesday, time it out for you, and even talk about the weather beyond the 7-day forecast. Coming up after this, you're watching First Alert Weather Extra.
Every morning on Good Day Alabama, we know the news that matters the most to you is the news that hits closest to home.
And we know that to tell the best story means going to where the story is. That's why having more reporters in more places is so essential.
Giving you more local stories that impact your family, your school, and your safety.
On air, online, and on the app.
That's the advantage of having the most reporters on your side. That's the advantage of Good Day Alabama.
I hear from people all the time with questions about healthcare, their insurance, and the safety of certain treatments. I'm Morgan Hightower, and I investigate these stories because if I were being taken advantage of, or if my family couldn't get the help they needed, I would want to know how to take action. That's why WBRC Fox 6 News investigates. We're on your side, getting answers, keeping you informed and safe. Contact us when you need a team on your side.
Get pinpoint locations down to your street level on the First Alert Weather app. You can download by searching WBRC in your app store. That's accuracy you can plan on.
I hear from people all the time having problems with their landlord or worry about being ripped off by a bad business. I'm Josh Gann, and I investigate stories like these because if I had questions about protecting my finances or how to save more money, I would want the best advice available. That's why WBRC Fox 6 News investigates. We're on your side, getting answers, keeping you informed and safe. Contact us when you need a team on your side.
Get First Alert weather and breaking news. Follow us on Twitter. Search at WBRC News.
Get First Alert weather and breaking news. Follow us on Facebook. Search at WBRC News.
All right, time to talk about this weather for the next several days. And First Alert weather day for Wednesday, that 80% chance of rain's coming in here at night for the most part. Thursday, 70% chance of rain. That is during the early morning. A lot of that's out of here by 6 a.m. And then the rest of the week's looking pretty good. Watching a system that could bring some showers on Saturday, but no severe weather expected for the rest of the week. So here we go with a look at First Alert AccuTrack this evening. Very mild, pleasant evening. I mentioned areas to the south in here. There may be a little bit of haze where we've had some fires happening, and may actually have another fire here. Notice the radar is picking up possibly some smoke plumes there coming in from parts of West Alabama, but overall the weather stays very dry through tonight and tomorrow and most of the day on Wednesday. This rain starts to come in during the afternoon and evening. We see the instability, the wind shear, a lot of those different parameters for severe weather, and the Storm Prediction Center has already issued a Day 3 enhanced outlook for West Alabama. That's a level 3 out of 5. You see the level 1 out of 5 for the far eastern areas, but the bottom line here is anywhere in the coverage area, even in a marginal zone, we can have a tornado from the ingredients that we're seeing, and we need to make sure overnight and into the morning that we have ways to get those alerts. Tornadoes, damaging winds, large hail. Looks like the typical what we call QLCS kind of format here. That's what we call a quasi-linear convective system. It's kind of like a squall line that moves through, and we see these little bowing segments, and sometimes you can get these little curls and brief spin-ups that try to happen along the line, but sometimes you can have a storm that tries to form out ahead of this, and if that happens, sometimes you can have those more violent or longer track type of setups with some of those storms. I don't see the kind of setup that would favor supercells crossing the entire state. Not that kind of day. This looks more like a line that's going to move through through. So we'll see a lot of impacts for most areas, rain, wind, and then that tornado risk and possibly some flash flooding. Hopefully this moves through a bit faster. Models have hinted that this could race on through, unlike the last one. I will say the new data has kind of slowed down a bit. Notice by 10 o'clock, it's almost following a time similar to last week. We're seeing there through Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Coleman, Bibb County, and then into East Alabama by midnight and after midnight. Yet again, these areas to the southeast near Fayetteville and over towards Sylacauga where we had the flooding, we're going to have to watch those areas in case these storms start to train and track across the same areas. We'll end up with some, it wouldn't take long for the rain to add up and we could end up with some flooding issues. So we'll need to watch after midnight, especially for an increasing risk of flooding, especially in those areas to the southeast. So when we look at the severe weather parameters here, one of the limiting factors last time was the amount of instability that we saw. We saw a lot more instability tracking further south along the Gulf Coast, and that's what fed some of those violent storms like that New Orleans tornado that we saw down along the Gulf Coast. But when you look at this, the instability is a bit more favorable this time for active weather. That's what you're looking at with this this coating here of green that you see across West Alabama. That's showing the storm fuel. And then I've got the winds overlaid, the winds coming out of the southwest aloft, and then the winds out of the south. So what if you look at these winds here in the low part of the atmosphere, winds out of the south, higher up you go, the winds coming from this direction, you end up with a directional shift in the winds. And that's why we end up with storms that start to rotate. You have directional wind shear, and see how fast these arrows are moving. That's called speed shear. So you're ending up with some strong winds aloft that can also help that air to rise, and that's why you end up in a situation like this more favorable for severe storms and tornadoes, and that's what we need to watch out for. Notice as the night goes on that instability starts to kind of fade away to the east. That's why we think the risk is more isolated in the East Alabama. But if you get one of those storms going and it can tap into that wind shear, it wouldn't take long for a storm to produce a tornado, some gusty winds. So we'll need to watch it and make sure, again, you have multiple ways to get those alerts. Weather app, NOAA weather radio. This will be during the overnight, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Hopefully this trends for the better, but whatever comes our way, we'll be ready for it. We'll be right here tracking it closely over the next couple of days. The rest of the week, again, into Saturday, we got that 30% chance of a shower. Jill, you know, this won't be our first deal with weather like this. We're certainly going to be watching it closely as we go through Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. And, you know, as we go beyond the 7-day, this is that time of year, March into April. We need to watch April closely because those storm systems could bring a risk of severe weather.
Yeah, we seem to be in a pattern right now where it's almost like every 7 days or so we see a system, and that pattern looks to continue, Wes. Let's go beyond the 7-day and show you one of the models and show you what it's indicating. Now, as we get to the 4th, again, we'll be a little bit cooler, and then we start to see a system around the 5th. So again, the 5th has our attention for several different reasons. Of course, we look at, you know, the future jet stream, we look at the future surface winds, instability. We're seeing some of those matching up again. So that could be our next big event for storms. We'll be watching the 5th. But again, we have, of course, what's going to be coming through Wednesday. We'll focus on that Wednesday into Thursday. But it's always good to look ahead. Now, there are some interesting things that pop up. Okay, it looks maybe a little wetter around the 8th. Again, this just gives you an idea. But it also hints at a cooler than normal pattern setting up. You see that blue up there? I mean, it's not out of the question. Some places could get snow if this were to pan out this time of year. We can still see some cooler weather, and that's why, you know, we recommend the plants that you make sure you protect them, because again, we could see some cooler temperatures in the form of even some frost. It's not out of the question. Again, looking longer range, I'm seeing a cooler pattern going through the middle portion of the month, and look at that, even some 30s possibly showing up. So we might have that severe weather threat this week and then next week, and then it might turn into a cooler pattern, let's hope. But again, could we be talking about snow? I mean, it's just crazy weather for the south. We're always on our toes. Wes?
And Jill, we did have snow in April one time, and so it is possible.
Yep.
It is possible.
Anything's
We'll keep a watch on that. It's incredible that we're in this pattern here. Seems like every week now it's around Tuesday or Wednesday when these systems come through. As Jill was talking about, need to watch the 5th there of April. Seeing some very concerning parameters with some of those systems moving through. And we need to watch that system there next week. All right, we got a live look here, 72 in Shelby County right now. Some gorgeous weather for this evening. I mentioned maybe a little hazy in some spots where we've had some of those fires happening across Shelby County. Coming up, we've got more to come right here. Another check on the 7-day forecast. And we'll show you what's happening along the lakes as we check in with Mickey after this.
Getting live breaking news and local updates has never been easier. That's because we're on your side with the WBRC streaming app. Need updates between newscasts? You can catch up quick here. And when we're live on TV, we're live here too, giving you more ways to get caught up with everything happening where you live. Plus, exclusive videos from your First Alert weather team. It's easy to use and it's free. Just search WBRC on your Roku, Amazon Fire, or Apple TV. WBRC Fox 6 News is on your side.
You've got enough to worry about every day. That's why the First Alert weather team is on your side, so you can plan with confidence and take the worry out of weather. With exclusive First Alert AccuTrack, we pinpoint storms before they arrive. And with Weather Every 6, you are always informed. Alabama's weather changes fast, but we're working even faster, updating and alerting you first. We know your plans are important. This is why we First Alert.
Every morning on Good Day Alabama, we're on your side, trying to get you where you're going safely. First Alert Traffic updates you on slowdowns and gives you alternate routes. Having more reporters covering the roads you drive on gives you even more info to help you know more about why it happened and when it will be cleared. On air, online, and on the app. That's the advantage of having the most reporters on your side. That's the advantage of Good Day Alabama.
I get calls and emails all the time from people wanting to know how cities, counties, and the state are spending their tax dollars. I'm Jennifer Horton, and I investigate how your tax dollars are being used because I don't want your money or mine wasted or fraudulently spent by politicians in power. That's why WBRC Fox 6 News investigates. We're on your side, following the paper trail, asking the tough questions, and giving you the facts. Contact us when you need a team on your side.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Let's check in with Mickey Ferguson for an update on the lakes and rivers forecast.
Let's take a quick look at our lake levels. We've got a couple of areas like Lake Tuscaloosa and Logan Martin Lake, 5 feet below normal, but that's pretty typical. And they raise the lake levels after keeping them down for a while. You have the spring rains, and they're trying to prevent flooding, and also gives an opportunity for folks to work on their piers and clean up the lakes and waterways. So we're 4 feet above the norm there in Smith Lake. I say the norm, that's full pool, and pretty close to it there at Lay Lake. We get into Lake Martin, and we're 2.5 feet below normal, 2 feet below the norm there into Neely Henry, and pretty close to the norm there on Weiss Lake. Now we do have a First Alert weather day for Wednesday. I will say on all our lakes and rivers, tomorrow looks like a wonderful day to be outside. Now during the daylight hours of Wednesday, we could be dry in a lot of locations because these storms set to arrive in the late afternoon to evening hours. So for example, over the next couple of days in the daylight hours, just a 40% chance of showers, and that'd be more for our discrete cells. And this pretty much goes for all of our lake forecasts going into Tuesday and Wednesday. So Tuesday, tomorrow, a warm and beautiful day with a few clouds, and that chance of seeing strong to severe storms, a First Alert weather day for Wednesday. So just be weather aware if you're out on the water.
That's right, Mickey. Be weather alert on Wednesday. First Alert Weather Day. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, along with our entire First Alert Weather team, we appreciate you joining us here for First Alert Weather Extra. And I'm back tonight at 9, 9:30, and 10 with the absolute latest. Stay with our weather team. We will keep you most informed as we monitor that system on Wednesday. I'll see you back on Channel 6 for the news at 9.